Hello viewers, I am Mr. Dilip Kumar Pal stands before you with an important topic of paper number 8 of 4th semester, and the name of the paper is Political Process and Institutions in Comparative Perspectives, and the name of the topic is Meaning of Nation, Meaning of State, Meaning of Nation State, and Evolution of Nation State in Western Europe. So let us start, my viewers. What is the meaning of nation? What is the meaning of state? What is the meaning of nation state? Then we'll take up how nation state has evolved or was evolved in Western Europe. But before I start, I request my viewers, if you have not subscribed my channel, subscribe so that benefit will be yours. And any of your friends who are reading in +2 first year, second year, +3 first semester, second semester, third semester, and fourth semester, aware them to subscribe my channel so that they will get benefit, and a single benefit to any person. It is a help, it is a service to God. Let us start. What is a nation? Just as in order to have knowledge, just as in order to have knowledge about a language, a basic knowledge about its alphabets are necessary, in a similar manner, in order to have knowledge about a subject, basic knowledge about its basic concepts are necessary. So in political science, a lot of basic concepts are found. Among these concepts, nation, state, and nation state are considered as basic concepts, and these concepts help to study political science in a better way. So, what is a nation? In simple language, nation means, it has come from the French word nation, N-A-C-I-O-N, or Latin word natio, means people of same stock or race live together having common blood relationship. So in simple language, nation means, it has come from the French word nation, N-A-C-I-O-N, nation, or Latin word nations, means a community of people who belong to a common race and they have common blood relationship. So people who belong to one race and they have blood relationship, it is nation. But what is nation? Appropriately, nation means people may be living in a particular area or other. They have loyalty to an area which they consider to be their motherland, and these people have emotional link and feeling of oneness with one another. Actually, nation means when people may be living in one area or in another area, they consider a particular area as their motherland, and these people have emotional link with one another and feeling of oneness. So actually, nation means when people are living in one area or another area, but they feel a particular area as their motherland, and they have emotional link with one another, and they have feeling of oneness with one another, it is a nation. And common race, common language, common religion. They are factors of nation. They cannot make a nation. It means common facts. It means some people feel that common religion, common language, common culture make the religion. Sorry, they make the nation. But actually, they are factors for nation. But they are not the makers of nation. Because now in USA, people of different races are found. Like white race, black race, yellow race, African, European, Asians are found. People of different races are found. In spite of that, USA is a country. In Britain, different races are found, like Anglo-Saxons, Jutes, Celtics. But in spite of that, Britain is a nation. So, nation means when people are living in one area or another area, but they feel a particular area as their motherland, and they have emotional link and feeling of oneness with one another is known as nation. So, common language, common religion, and common culture are factors of nations, but not makers of nation. So, we are clear what is nation in simple language, what is nation in actual language. Now, we'll discuss what is a state. Greeks use the word polis for state. Romans use the word civitas for state. Tutors use the word status for the state. But state means where people living in a permanent area and exercise their sovereign power through the government. So state means Greek use the word polis for state. Romans use the word civitas for state. Tutors use the word status for state. But state means people living in an area permanently and they exercise the sovereign power through government is state. To make it more clear, state means an organization which will have four elements like population, territory, government, sovereignty is state. So we are clear what is a nation, what is a state. Now the most important thing is what is nation state. Nation state means where there will be the mixture of nation as well as state. It means nation state means when people having emotional link and loyalty to their motherland live in an independent country having sovereign power which is exercised by government. So nation state means when people living in a particular territory, they exercise sovereign power through the government, and these people have emotional link and feeling of loyalty to their country, and the feeling of oneness is known as nation state. So you are clear what is a nation, what is a state, and what is a nation state. Now discuss how nation state have been originated in Western Europe. So we will divide this origination into three phases. One is phase 1. In the phase 1 we will discuss status of nation state prior to Treaty of Westphalia, which was signed in 1648, and the Westphalia is situated in Germany. So the first phase is status of nation states prior to Westphalia. Number 2, status of nation state at the time of signing of Westphalia Treaty. And phase 3, status of nation state after signing Westphalia Treaty. So what is the status of nation state before Westphalia Treaty? Westphalia Treaty was signed in 1648. It was the end of 30 years of war, and the war started from 1618. It continued up to 1648. So before the signing of Westphalia Treaty, which was signed in Germany, there were no nation states, because before the signing of Westphalia Treaty, what were the conditions? Prior to Westphalia Treaty, in Western Europe in particular and Europe in general, there were states, but there was a religious domination on states. Before the signing of Westphalia Treaty, in Western Europe in particular and Europe in general, there were states, but the states were under the domination of religions. Number two, the principle of independence of states. The principle of independence of states, equality among independent states, their sovereignty in internal and external affairs, principles of recognition of state to one another, equality of citizens irrespective of their diversity were absent. So before signing of Westphalia Treaty, there were states, but they were under religious domination. In general, and domination of Roman emperor in particular. At the time, the Roman Empire was being ruled by a dynasty known as Habsburg, Habsburg. So prior to Westphalia Treaty, there were nations, but they were under religious domination. Again, nations were not independent. The principle of equality for nation was not found. Citizens were not treated as equal, irrespective of their diversities. Nations do not have sovereign power internally and externally. All these principles were not found prior to signing of Westphalia Treaty. And prior to signing of Westphalia Treaty, nations were divided on the basis of Catholic religion and Protestant religion. And there was war among nations on the basis of religion. Some states were Catholic states, some states were Protestant states. So there are wars on religions. Again, before signing of Westphalia Treaty, there were different type of wars in Europe. Some wars were for domination in Europe, and some wars were for the domination of religions. So before signing of Westphalia Treaty, there was no nation states. And when 30 years of war was over in Europe, what were the consequences? Sweden emerged as a powerful country. Rise of Bourbon dynasty in France. Big weakness of Habsburg dynasty. Habsburg dynasty, which was ruling over Rome, became weak. Dutch got independence from Spain after 80 years of struggle. Then 30 years of war changed balance of power in Europe. So in the 30 years of war, 8 million of people were killed, and people of Europe suffered heavily. So they wanted to form they wanted a peace. So peace treaty was signed, known as Westphalia Treaty in 1648. So when Westphalia Treaty was signed, what decisions were taken? Number one, all states must be considered as equal. All states are considered, in Westphalia Treaty it was mentioned, all states must be considered as equal. They are sovereign internally and externally. No state can interfere in others' affairs. People must be considered as citizens irrespective of diversities. State must be free. State must be free to adopt any religion. Principle of states like population, parent area, government and sovereignty are recognized. So when Treaty of Westphalia was signed, decisions are taken that all states are independent, they cannot interfere in others' affairs, they are independent internally and externally, they can opt any religion, people should be treated as citizens irrespective of diversities. All these decisions were taken in Westphalia Treaty. And after Westphalia Treaty, and these Westphalia Treaty, decisions of Westphalia Treaty make origination of nation states. So the decisions of Westphalia Treaty, due to these decisions of Westphalia Treaty, nation state have come to sin. Now we'll discuss phase 3, means status of nation states after Westphalia Treaty. No doubt, nation states have been originated out of Westphalia Treaty. But after the signing of Westphalia Treaty, what was the status of nation states? Number 1, after this treaty, all European countries function independently without interfering in each other's affair. After signing of this treaty, all European countries function independently. They did not interfere in others' affairs. All countries were treated as equal. All countries treated as equal. All countries were made free to take independent decisions. All nations were made free to take independent decisions. So after the signing of Westphalia Treaty, all nations were made independent. They were made independent. They were made sovereign. They were given freedom internally, externally, and they are free to take independent decisions. And after signing of Westphalia Treaty, what were the results in Europe? Many powerful countries in Europe emerged, like Britain, France, Spain, Portugal, Holland, Russia, etc. European nations involved in domination in territorial and territorial sphere, means within Europe, and extraterritorial sphere, like establishment of colonies in Asia, Africa, Latin America. After the Treaty of Westphalia, no doubt European nations were made free. They are made free to take any independent decision, and they were made free internally, externally. They were made free to adopt any religion. But what changes took place at that time after the sign of Westphalia Treaty? Many nations, many new nations came to sin as powerful nations, like Britain, France, Spain, Portugal, etc. And these states compete with one another territorially and extraterritorially. It means they started to compete with one another to dominate in Europe, and they started to compete with one another to establish colonies in Asia, Africa, and Latin America. And they were busy to establish colonies with one another. They were busy to establish colonies in different areas of Asia, Africa, Latin America, and they were in tussles in the field of establishment of colonies. Number 3, after the defeat of Napoleon in 1814 in Waterloo, it is in Belgium, in 1815 Vienna Peace Treaty was signed. When the Vienna Peace Treaty was signed, in the treaty, the feeling of expansionism was restricted, and in general, and France was restricted to follow the policy of expansionism, and the policy of expansionism was discouraged in general, and it restricted policy of expansionism for France. Then after that, Bourbon dynasty again restored in France, and finally in 1919 League of Nations came to sin, and in 1945 United Nations organization came to sin. So nation states have been originated not prior to Treaty of Westphalia, but they have been originated after signing of Westphalia. So in this video I've discussed what is nation, what is state, what is nation state, and how nation states have been originated in Europe in general and Western Europe in particular. Thank you viewers. I request viewers to watch this video attentively till the end and take note of this video. Thank you. Again we'll be here with another video. Till now, goodbye to all.